And? To screw it up less next time, although we can't possibly screw it up as badly as the city is screwing this up. And welcome to This Week in Worcester podcast. I'm Tom Marino. I am editor of This Week in Worcester. This is Mr. John Edward Keogh. He is a valued, incredible contributor to This Week in Worcester. He is president of Hollywood Film Group and executive producer at Manny J Media. Hey, John.
Hey, Tom. What's going on, buddy?
I've been, let's spell it right, naughty is what's going on.
Wait, you should let a few people join.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because there is there's quite a bit going on in the universe. Let me before we get onto this stuff, let me tell the people as they're joining what we did this week, just in the world of a special thing for us. So if those of you who were following along, Tom, This Week in Worcester was given a very special opportunity on Thursday night, where we were for the first time, and this has never happened. Did this happen before? When did you guys have this kind of credentialing before, back in the day?
No.
Okay. So for the first time, This Week in Worcester was credentialed for a Bruins game at TD Garden. And another part about that was it's my first ever game, Bruins game at TD Garden. So I grew up, the last Bruins game I went to in person was at the old Boston Garden in like the whenever it was still standing. And I was a kid. I was a young kid when I went there. So it was really cool. And there's some opportunities for This Week in Worcester, but it was just cool because as this episode is going to be more about local politics stuff, which is definitely our kind of go-to thing, it's good to see that other people are recognizing us. If you follow along, basically, it's a lottery system that has to be cleared through your writing. So they read our a couple of Bruins articles that I had written, and then they selected us. And I'm excited to tell you, Tom, that I think that we get 7 other games this year.
No kidding.
Yes. So that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
And by the way, because we got 1 game during the regular season, we go into the pool for if they were to make the playoffs, which is pretty cool. Like, so you get in, and everybody gets an equal amount of entries into the pool of reporters for the playoffs. So it was pretty cool. This Week in Worcester, we leveled up a little bit. It was literally on level 9 of the building. So it was pretty cool.
Hey, Sarah, I was not there. This was a John event.
Yes.
I was not there. They have been playing pretty well, though.
They have been. They've been doing pretty good. They're 10-7 on the year now. Beat Toronto yesterday, and they're undefeated when This Week in Worcester is present. Just want to point that out.
It is the us factor.
It is definitely us. There's no doubt about it. And I hope the Bruins recognize how awesome we are. And apparently they do. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it is cool.
And quick shout out to Tom Carroll from WEEI, who was and from the round table, which is various sports. But Tom Carroll sat next to me, and he's a regular contributor to the Red Sox thing that I do. But he has been following along This Week in Worcester's coverage of various things, and so it was nice to have someone who's a Worcester guy. He's moved on; he doesn't live in Worcester anymore, but his family still does. He was like, "You guys keep going." So it was cool. But we have other people in the media who think that what we're doing over here is pretty cool. So that was nice.
Awesome. It is cool, or it is nice rather. I don't watch a ton of games anymore. I used to watch a lot of Bruins games, and I'm too emotionally involved to be able to cover them.
Yeah, it was funny because in the media, in the press box, there's two rows. So there's like the row for the new people like me and some like kind of people down there, and then there's a second row above you which has like the Globe and the Herald and like the big local media kind of people. And when the Bruins scored the goal to win, like all the reporters were like, and like so they got excited, but they can't be excited, right? Because it's got
right.
Dispassionate. And then where the Ottawa reporters were, so there's like another section kind of down a little bit where the opposite team kind of people sit, and you could see at least one guy was like so
I mean, they're Canadian though. I mean, it's almost allowed if they.
It's hard to play that line though, between rooting for a team and not, so it was cool. It was definitely a cool thing, and there's other opportunities coming up for this week in Worcester, not just in the sports arena, and so I'm super excited about the future. Tom and Pat before and other people have worked really hard on this thing, and you guys who watch the show, and that support all the articles that we put out, you guys are helping us get these opportunities. So please continue, including what Tom's going to talk about tonight. Part of it is because so many of you are watching and reading and listening to the stuff that we're doing that it's bothering some people. So this is the end for a while that you're going to hear from me, because I'm going to be a fan and just watch the show. So enjoy the
Chime in.
It's good stuff. Good stuff coming right now.
So this was I've been naughty. Yes, Maria, I've been naughty. So it was Friday, I believe. I keep my mailing address, like the RMV and most things is still my mom's house in Oxford, right? So she calls me and she says, there's an envelope here for you. It's taped to the front door and it has your name on it. Weird. I was going there. I was coming here Friday anyway, so I came by and grabbed it. And I open it, and this is what I find.
So
yep. I'm gonna
good.
put it on the screen.
He's gonna put it right on the screen.
Ruh-roh. And let me. It should be able to see it. So the Richard Rafferty at Eden Rafferty Attorneys at Law. That's never good. And regarding Officer Thomas Guffey. Oh boy. Dear Mr. Marino, I'm going to read it for the benefit of folks that don't get to. Oh no, Mark, that's a little facetious. I'm going to get there in a second, though. So, dear Mr. Marino, on behalf of Officer Duffy and the New England Police Benevolent Association, this doesn't seem like it's a union issue. It seems like it's a personal issue.
Can the union doesn't the union have its own? Okay, continue. Anyways, yeah, continue.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a personal issue. I don't know why. If he represents the union, wouldn't he use his personal attorney, or is it? I guess members can just pay for it. Okay. Yeah. I am demanding that you stop making false statements and accusations about Officer Duffy.
Woo! False statements,
among other falsehoods. You continue to peddle the lie, for example, in your May 14th, 2025 column, that Officer Duffy is one of the Worcester police officers on the so-called Brady list, end quote. You cite, quote, sources inside both city and state government, end quote. This is false. Mayor Petty and the Worcester DA's office have openly denied the existence of such a list, which you conveniently failed to mention. I demand you retract this provably false statement within 15 days of this letter. May 14th, and it's November, and now they want you to retract. Interesting. Okay. This is very short, by the way. It's only a few more sentences. I also note the falsehoods in your pieces dated June 6, 2025. That is the Duffy yelling at the chief about charging a tell piece.
That's right.
And your attempted rationalization of your fiction, on June 10th, which was our response to the police department statement.
It's so good. This is so good.
In which you ironically described the Worcester Police Department's fact-checked as a smear in light of your ongoing smears of Officer Duffy. Fact-check needs resources, and they just said. Just this week, you described him as a terrorist, a criminal, and a felon. Obviously, you have no basis in fact for asserting as much, since his legal record has no such charges.
Of course, it has no such charges.
Should you continue to smear Officer Duffy with such provable false accusations, you can expect further legal action from my office.
All right, further legal action. Uh-oh.
So I have been naughty though. So I went laughing at the chat. Sorry. So let's start with this line about terrorist, criminal, and felon. Just until just before the show, I was going to come on here and say, I don't know when the hell I call him a terrorist. And then John said, that was on Hank's show.
Yeah.
Oh. So we should be accurate with our words.
And by the way, I don't think you, let me say this, because Mark's in the chat. I believe you said that he has terrorized Worcester. See, that's what I see. Here's the distinction, right? And we should be accurate with our words, regardless of the topic. I have said certainly in the past that he has terrorized this city for many years. Stand by it, quite frankly. But when you use the word terrorist, if I did use that word, like I said, I don't remember saying that, but I'll take that word for it. If you want to use the word terrorist, that has a whole different connotation. Now, that especially, war on terror, since that, that very directly implies someone who uses violence as a means of political coercion, which is the definition of terrorism. So if it did, and again, I haven't heard it, so I don't know. But I did say that, that's not fair and is not accurate, and I shouldn't have said it. Definitely should not have said that, because the man I do not believe is using violence as a means of political coercion, and to affect a certain political outcome, right? That's not. So if I said that, my bad. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I have said in the past that related to his 2016 escapade, which we'll watch that video again later, that any one of us would be in prison, incarcerated, a convict, a felon. And you know what? I got a little loose with it since, and I've kind of trying to just transition that. I definitely said felon Duffy like 3 times last week. I went back and listened to it, or not last week, on Tuesday when we did the election thing. Look, I was a little emotional, and I'm really sick of being called a cop hater, and I just lashed out. That's a special message for somebody. You know what? Mr. Rafferty's right. You shouldn't be calling people, though. You shouldn't be calling, especially a felon, when they have never been charged nor convicted. I do stand by, however, if any one of us did what he did, that would be aiding and abetting and/or conspiracy after the fact, a felony, which is punishable by, in that case, probably 5 years in prison. Those are all facts. But so in this, and I'm starting at the end for a reason, because the rest of it is nonsense. So in this stuff, yep, shouldn't have said that stuff. Absolutely right. Won't happen again. I'm sure that this doesn't affect Mr. Duffy's life. Won't happen again unless the legal status changes.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath for that. In this corrupt city, he's an untouchable, so he's above the law. So I shouldn't do that. And this doesn't affect his life. He doesn't really care. He's just trying to,
Yeah, he's just trying to bully you. He is a bully. That's not a legal term. I'll call him a bully. He's a bully.
Yeah, he's the most aggressive human alive. But more so for the benefit of our listeners, readers, I should be precise with my words. I wasn't, and so I apologize. Now, I also note your falsehoods in your pieces dated June 6th and June 10th. June 6th piece is when we reported that there was a confrontation between Officer Duffy and the chief related to charging Officer Attell. Officer Attell, City Council Attell.
The chat is on fire today.
That was not a falsehood. It is the most sourced story we've ever done.
Yeah.
And sources continue to confirm this to me as time goes on. I just in the last 3 or 4 weeks or so, I talked to somebody in the police department who saw it happen. We have, I think, 4 or 5 confirmations of people that saw it happen.
Yeah.
And everybody in the department knew this happened. This was the water cooler talk for some time.
Yes.
So,
further, I did a lot of the background work on that, like talking to officers.
You did.
I can confirm that the language that we reported was consistent also with Mr. Duffy's statement that he released, a press release that he put out to the Worcester Guardian on the Friday, May 9th. And it was almost word for word, verbatim. The consistent reporting that we received was that the conversation he had with the public was consistent with the reporting of what the officers inside the department heard him say to Chief Saucier. Now, they did release a statement denying that, but that's not a denial does not mean that it didn't happen. It just is a denial. And so I think that they are aware, and maybe they're not aware, but I guess I want to say out loud that if this were to go to court, which this letter seems to suggest that they would do further legal action, then it would be well within Tom's rights to seek out the officers' names and numbers. And of course, in one particular, in the case of me working as a reporter, I have a phone that I use for some of my sources, and that would become the subject of discovery. And whether or not those officers use their personal phones or work phones to call that number would be something that would come to light. And so I would hope that they don't want that phone to get out there. But of course, I recognize as the contributing reporter that would happen. And I recognize that. So that phone exists. I can tell you that phone exists.
Well, I mean, the other thing that would do, it would open up discovery to
a lot of discovery. Yeah.
I mean, this conversation happened within just outside of, hard to explain how it's set up there, but it was near where the deputy chiefs sit, and the captains are right down the hall. So several people saw this, and they would all be deposed, and I can guarantee you that they're not going to lie under oath for this nonsense, especially. So
how do we know? How do we know what the layout to that part of the building is?
Oh, because I've been up there several times.
Okay, exactly. So if someone had described something through me to you or through sources to you, you would have been able to identify if it was accurate or not based on the layout that you've experienced yourself.
Yeah, can be a small confirming factor, sure.
Yeah. So there's lots of other confirming factors about the reporting that we did that.
Yeah, I don't think we should go much deeper into that, honestly.
Lot. Just for people.
Yeah, no, lots.
You see my eyebrows?
Yeah.
This is great. This is the best thing that's ever happened.
And then my rationalization of your fiction. The first thing wasn't fiction; it happened. So you should ask your client why he's lying to you. The June 10th. I mean, although they didn't mention us, I felt like it was the right thing to do to respond. Admittedly, that response was maybe a little juvenile because I was kind of laughing at them. And if we made a mistake there, we should have made it clear that we had no indication that this whatever you want to call it, verbal altercation, which was one-sided from what we were told. It was Duffy yelling and the chief kind of just looking at him, waiting for him to stop. We probably should have made clear that we had no indication that this had any influence over, that the officer who did file the charges against Attell, or the chief's decision making in anything at all. You probably should have been more clear about that. I don't think we implied otherwise, but we probably, I think I added that after the fact that there was, no indication this had any effect on anybody.
Yeah, I
Because
don't think we did. We just reported that we heard about this argument, and
right.
I don't think that you said anything wrong there. But
yeah,
hey,
I mean, that was what upset the chief is like he didn't like the perception that he could be influenced by somebody at the union and on a charging matter especially.
Yeah.
And I get that. We probably should have said that there was no indication this had any effect on anything. But the intent was to just report, Officer Duffy screaming at somebody because that's what he does. So yeah, I'll take the Pepsi challenge on those two stories any day. I mean, the second one is just, it's just commentary, really. The first one was a news story.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. Now, the Whopper came first, though. They hit us with the good one first. You continue to peddle the lie, for example, on May 14th, that Officer Duffy is one of the Worcester police officers on the so-called Brady list. You cite sources inside both city and state government. That is false. Mayor Petty and the Worcester DA's office have openly denied the existence of such a list.
Well, real quick, the Worcester County DA is county government, not state. But I digress. I know what he's doing there. There's a little Weasley move there in that sentence.
Oh well. So it's actually not on the website anymore. But denying it says, does this look like denying the existence of a Brady list? This is from the Worcester County District Attorney's website on January 14th, 2025, as accessed through the Wayback Machine.
Now, I have a question, Tom. Is this currently on the DA's website?
It is not.
Really? It's interesting. Why would the DA remove a frequently asked question such as this?
I am not sure.
What is
So what it is, right, is we'll just give me 1 second. We'll get there. Just note right here, and I don't know how well you can see it, but Brady versus Maryland. Okay, that's where the name Brady list comes from. So see Brady list, Brady versus Maryland. You can just hold on to that for 1 second. Okay. Also, this is currently on the Worcester District Attorney's website. Here is duty of disclosure again, Brady versus Maryland, and this is witness conduct disclosure form, publicly available on the Worcester County District Attorney's website.
Wow, interesting.
That's the litigation integrity division, by the way. This is some weird way to deny the existence of a thing, huh? And then I'm going to answer your question right now, Natalie. So this is I'm sorry, I'm screwing this up. I wanted to just show you a quick video, real quick. Another, means of showing that this exists.
To the chief, as relates to false statements during the course of official duty by law enforcement, false statements, police reports that are deemed by yourself or a court to be false. How does that play into the evaluation of these folks and potential promotions, merit, etc.? And what is the collective bargaining language pertaining to false statements during the course of duty? Is that subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination, or is that not in the collective bargaining agreement through the chair?
Chief? Through the chair to the counselor, I'm not aware of anything in the collective bargaining agreement in reference to untruthfulness, but if you are untruthful, then that in your sustain, that goes to post. Post can revoke your certification. It also goes to it's called a Rule 14 with the DA's office, where you're on a list, and Rule 14 with the DA's office, where you're on a list, and the defense gets that list, and if you're on it, you basically can't testify yet.
I played it a few times. Rule 14, you're on a list. Just wanted to make sure you heard that, because here we are on the Massachusetts State website, and we have Oh, weird. We have to hold on. Stand by. Yeah, there we go. So he said, remember he said Rule 14, you're on a list. Criminal Procedure Rule 14, pretrial discovery from the prosecution. And Brady, right? We'll just do a quick search for Brady. And here's your answer, Natalie. Part of that Rule 14, exculpatory evidence. This provision requires the prosecution to provide automatic discovery. That means they just have to hand it over of any facts of an exculpatory nature. In other words, that would be in the defense's benefit. It derives from the constitutional requirement established in Brady versus Maryland. What, as Gino just said, well, you don't say. So the chief just referred to a list in Rule 14. Here it is. And I got one more, just to make it obnoxious, from the Massachusetts Coalition of Police. Those of you who don't know, Rule 14 is a criminal procedure rule that deals with discovery what needs to be turned over to a defense in a criminal matter. A recent case that made its way to the Massachusetts Supreme Court, CPCSVAG, set the groundwork for an advisory committee to be established to make changes to Rule 14 that would outline the procedure for the Commonwealth to fulfill its duty to learn of and disclose any exculpatory evidence that is held by agents in the prosecution team. And it goes on to say, it goes on to refer to Brady here.
Real quick,
okay.
CPCS, that's the Committee for Public Counseling Services, right? So that's basically the group that manages the defense attorneys for almost all indigent defendants in the state of Massachusetts. In particular, if you go read this case, and it's a fun read if you go take a look at it, because man, the Worcester County DA's office pops up a couple times in that thing. But basically, what was happening was in a ton of cases, there, and you may have heard about this when there was like there was this thing where eventually they were going to have to like void all these criminal convictions for a ton of people across the state of Massachusetts all at the same time. And that's because the DAs in general around Massachusetts were not providing the basic exculpatory evidence, in particular in relation to officials who had a history of being dishonest. And it originated out of the State Police Crime Lab, ongoing scandal, which continues to screw us all to this day, where several of the scientists in the State Police Crime Lab were caught lying on totals, amounts, blah, 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 blah. And so that became a massive investigation. And that was that case right there was the result of that investigation.
So how this plays for the police departments across the state is when a district attorney has past evidence of a police officer being untruthful, manipulating, whatever, they are required to turn that evidence over as discovery, without no questions asked. They just have to give it to the defense. So if those officers are on the stand, they can then be impeached with that evidence, which makes it very difficult to put those officers on the stand, right? Because you can use that, demonstrated history of untruthfulness in court. And that's, obviously that's not good for prosecutors who are trying to get convictions. And so the technical term is, Rule 14, but it has been long talked about and long been referred to as the quote unquote Brady list, which, if you remember in the letter, he quoted me as saying the so-called Brady list, because it is sort of a colloquial term to refer to officers that, that DAs have Rule 14 requirements to hand over stuff, right? And so, yeah, I mean, if Proctor was going to continue to be an officer, he's not. He dropped his appeal. And I'm kind of sad because I was pretty sure, I was almost certain that civil service was going to put him back on the job, and that would have, been a nice talking point. But he gave it up because it was going nowhere. But yeah, if he was going to continue to be a police officer, yeah, they would have to, every case that he was going to testify in, or even had a role in the case of making the arrest or whatever, DAs would have to turn over that evidence about his untruthfulness or alleged untruthful or whatever it is to the defense attorney, who could then use that to undermine whatever testimony he would give, or undermine the credibility of the investigation because this person was involved, for example. So the chief of police explicitly acknowledged the Rule 14 list. And if you go to Rule 14, it's largely, the kind of root case. There's cases that have come that have expanded it, but the root case is Brady versus Mountain. And that's where the term Brady, obviously, for Brady list comes from. So it would appear that Thomas Duffy's attorney, seemingly his legal representation, on behalf of Mr. Duffy, has accused the chief of police of lying to the people of Worcester in the council chambers.
I think Paul should sue Duffy and his attorney. And
I actually
send a demand letter.
Actually, I bet you can find a lawyer. Actually, what remember when we learned remember when you tried to petition the city council related to the cable committee, and the former solicitor informed of us this wonderful case, which I didn't think to look up. I forget what it is. But it said, when you're acting as part of your official duties as a public employee, if you take a public position against the official position of your employer, when you're talking about subject matter within your area of responsibility, right? So if you are a scientist, or you work on DNA or whatever, right? And if you go and give a public statement, even in your personal capacity, that says DNA doesn't exist, and it is the official position of your employer, your state employer, that DNA does exist, they can fire you for that.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Ooh.
Just saying.
That's interesting.
And so that's interesting. I found that very interesting, because we've talked about on the show several times how the chief of police acknowledged that there was a Brady list. We've talked about it many times.
Yeah.
And so I read this, I thought, and I knew it's March 25th. I knew exactly the meeting, because it was the kind of the first DOJ meeting since the December Not a Riot. Respectfully, Mr. Attorney Rafferty, no chance in hell, ever will that be retracted, because it's true. You know it. Officer Duffy knows it. I know it. The DA knows it. The chief knows it. I have no idea what he's referring to, by the way, that Mayor Petty said, openly denied the existence of such a list. I'm unaware of that statement.
When did he say that? And when did I don't know that Joe Early's ever been on the record for it, because he's been asked this question multiple times, and he's always he has never said it doesn't exist. He just doesn't answer the question. He usually gives a no comment. Part of our reporting on Chief Sausier's that specific quote that he gave right there was, he's the first sitting chief of police in the history of Worcester to admit that such a list or mechanism exists in any capacity, that there was such a thing that existed, that DAs would not let officers testify if they had, internal information, or in this particular case, even if, by the way, if Post doesn't sustain it, right? So say that it's not sustained by Post. It still
does not go to Post.
Huh?
It doesn't go. First of all, you heard him say, if it's sustained, it goes to Post. If it's not,
right. But even if it's not sustained, it is part of the. This is what the whole argument here is about. They're like playing word games. If an officer is accused of lying by a defendant, by anybody, that goes into the case notes. And in the case notes, it has to be revealed to the defense attorney. So if there was let's just say you were accused of breaking and entering, right? Tom broke and entered into someplace. And that's allegedly. I'm not saying he did, because I don't want Tom to send me a demand letter.
Mr. Rafferty, I might need you.
But what I'm saying is, if Tom was accused of a crime, and then the officer who charged Tom with the crime has charged a bunch of people with a similar crime, it would be Tom's defense attorney would get that information, right? Even if the officer did everything right. But in those case notes, if that officer was regularly accused of lying, it would be highlighted as exculpatory in the exchange between the district attorney's office, who has to review all that stuff and hand it over to the defense attorney. It's really not like a complicated thing. I know it sounds complicated with all these Rule 14s and Brady's and cases and blah, 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 blah. But really what it is if the person gets on the stand, if this officer gets on the stand, normally the court kind of gives credence to an officer who's on the stand. But if he has a history of lying or she does, then the defense would be able to use that against them.
And so, I'm obviously not going to reveal any sources. But if you wanted to say, is it even feasible that Duffy's on that Officer Duffy is on the Brady list? Well, there's no audio in this video, but we're going to watch a video. Sorry for podcast listeners or audio only listeners. I'll try and describe. So you have a vehicle pulling up to a traffic light and a black car pulling up in front of it and kind of cutting it off from further movement, kind of pulling out into the middle of a red light, in the intersection when there's a red light. And then there seems to be a second car trying to box this car in. Now you see some, off in the distance, many cars back, you see some police lights. And then here comes a bunch of people with flashlights. And they've yanked the guy out of the car, and the car keeps rolling. And then hits a light pole. The initial car was driven by, guess who, John?
Officer Thomas Duffy?
That's correct. This case is still, I believe, in the court system.
It is.
They found a small amount of marijuana in that car. One of the passengers was somewhat injured. What you can't really see there is another officer, as they were trying to cut this car off, another officer came up and smashed out one of the windows with his flashlight, which gave them access, and then they pulled the driver out, and the car rolls forward a little bit into a light pole. John, did you see, and we can watch it again if you'd like, did you see any of the officers struck by that car?
No, it looks like that the car was stopped, and the person, shot forward a little bit. It looks like they're pushed from behind by another vehicle. And then the guy's ripped out of the thing. It looks like he opened his window or something at one point and then closed it. I'm watching it right here. It looks like he's being boxed in. It looks like he's being ripped out right there.
Do you see any of the cars closest to him, closest to the driver that they're going after? Do you see any evidence of any police lights going off?
No. The farthest police lights are way back.
Multiple
at least
cars
3 or 4 cars back in the very top right corner of the video. The guy's on the ground at this point, and the car had rolled forward without a driver about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 feet into that pole.
So here is the original complaint, or the amended complaint in that case. I'm just real quickly going to point out one line in it.
Hey Tom, how often has this video been played?
I've highlighted it here. Officer Duffy claimed that during the stop of the Volkswagen Jetta, Fofana accelerated in a dangerous manner, ultimately striking 2 police officers and crashing into a street pole. But video obtained shows this allegation is false. We just watched the video. It is false. That's how you get yourself on the Brady list. When you charge a guy for, I forget what the charges are. I could find it.
He claimed that the guy accelerated in a dangerous manner. As you guys can watch the video, there's no acceleration. And that he struck 2 police officers. There's no striking. And then he was out of the car when it crashed into the street pole because he's on the ground being dumped by a bunch of the silver car kind of pushed it, right? Yeah. I think the silver car was another undercover officer, as far as I understand, if I remember this full thing.
Oh, I think that's all officers. Right. There was multiple, and this is according to the complaint that was filed. This is the amended complaint that is filing the lawsuit. That multiple officers said the same thing. That officers were struck by the car through the negligence or aggression of the driver.
Right.
Of course, and just for audio listeners, the video we were watching is very obviously, a light pole or something. It's a traffic camera of some sort. Yeah. That's looking right at the whole scene. So I don't know this for a fact, but for example, in the beer garden situation that we talked about here, that was also a surveillance camera that nobody knew was there, or the officers didn't know. And they also told us three of them told us a very similar story.
That's right. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Imagine that. So that's how you get yourself on the Brady list. Is you say things that didn't happen to trump up charges because, according to the complaint, Officer Duffy said that he had investigated, was surveilling this area as part of the month-long investigation, and that's the guy they got, and they got some weed. This is 2020 after the law passed.
Right.
And so I don't see where the charges are.
This is of course, the body camera rollout, so we have no body camera.
Correct.
That's
correct. So it couldn't, I mean, if you wonder, wow, how did he get on the Brady list? Well, there's one example. And then, of course, there's this that we played here before. And I'll play it again.
By police. In one case, Mr. Pinheiro alleged police sending the brother of a gang officer home from the scene in a cab. Jose Batista, the officer's brother, was later charged with the shooting after video of the shooting and of him in the area where the gun and casings were found. The shooting occurred February 20th, 2016, around 2:18 a.m. near a bar on Water Street, when a man emerged from the shadows and fired shots in the direction of a vehicle. A responding officer to the scene, Jesus Candelaria, wrote in his report that when he got there, off-duty gang officer Tom Duffy had spoken to Batista at the scene. Batista told police a man named Grace Catania had shot at him. Officer Candelaria left the scene for several minutes, returning to find Batista gone. Officer Candelaria wrote in his report that where Batista had been standing, he found a gun magazine and nearby 4 spent bullet casings and a live bullet. Officer Candelaria labeled both Batista and Catania as victim/suspect in his report. In his report taking out charges 3 days later, Lieutenant David Doherty identified Batista as the victim and Catania as the suspect. Catania was charged with armed assault with intent to murder, among other charges, and held pending a dangerousness hearing. At the dangerousness hearing, Mr. Catania's lawyer, Michael G. Cashman, noted police never took an official statement from Mr. Batista. Over the objection of a prosecutor, Mr. Cashman brought to the stand Officer Candelaria, who disclosed that Batista had been sent home in a cab by Officer Duffy. That fact is not in any of the police reports associated with the charges. The reports just say he could not be located. Mr. Cashman said he didn't know what happened between Officer Duffy and Batista, but that it, quote, doesn't sound right. After the dangerousness hearing, police obtained video of the area they said appeared to show Mr. Batista with a gun in his hand in the carport where the casings and gun was found. Police found the gun on top of the carport. It appears to have been thrown there before Mr. Batista encountered Officer Duffy. Video shows Mr. Batista being encountered by Officer Duffy. He is searched, and at some point off the video, sent home in a cab. Mr. Batista is the brother of gang officer Neftali Batista. Officer Duffy was in the gang unit as well. Batista was charged with the shooting following the recovery of the video. A warrant issued for him was returned as undeliverable to the court. Mr. Batista was arraigned about a year after the arrest warrant was issued. He is awaiting trial after being indicted into Worcester Superior Court.
Your audio's off.
I didn't know if it would echo. So I don't even know if that's Brady material. That seems to be. Now I gotta, choose my words carefully, or I got another naughty letter. That appears to be evidence of a crime committed. That crime would be, if it was committed, it would be, conspiracy after the fact, aiding and abetting, something of that sort. And those crimes generally crimes of helping somebody get away with a crime, they generally carry the same sentence as the crime itself. And I just also note that Mr. Batista here, who was the brother of one of the individuals in the same unit as Duffy, that man was not apprehended for a year. So while and I mean this generally, I'm not making light of. I need to choose my words precisely. That's rage-inducing. That this and as far as I can tell, based on the timing, because unless a case becomes public, even if you get the list of internal charges against an officer, they will redact the names if it's not publicly known, right? Because it's still a privacy issue. But so I can only really go on the timing of the many investigations of Officer Duffy over the years. It does not even look like this was investigated internally, and obviously charges.
Wait, Tom, listen, I have to stop you right there. Are you telling me that BOPS, that sterling, incredible investigatory unit inside of the Worcester Police Department didn't investigate a situation where one of their officers may have either intentionally or unwittingly helped another person evade prosecution? I refuse to say that, and I demand you retract such an insinuation, Tom. I demand it. Bops didn't even investigate it.
Yeah. And so
it's so good. It's so good.
I would just submit as an overall about internal investigations in the police department. It was almost a full decade that the internal investigations at the Worcester Police Department did not sustain one case, not one, for over 9 years of unreasonable force. There has been multiple in the year and a half that Chief Saucier has been chief. So one of two things have to be true. The first option is, oh wow, that's a lot of unreasonable force all of a sudden. The police department's apparently getting worse. I don't believe that, but that's one of the options. Or the realistic option is that it was a free-for-all in there forever. I mean, those 9 years for sure, but it's actually much longer than that. And that is what the current iteration and certainly the next iteration of the Worcester City Council is just demanding to preserve. The free-for-all. And it is not a free-for-all under this chief, for sure. It's been better. But this chief, I mean, every day he stays over 3 years in that job is a blessing, because that is when he maxes out his pension. Staying any longer, he cannot earn more money toward his pension. So he could, take 80% of his pay as a pension and then go do something else.
It's not like
he indicated he wanted to do.
It's not like they already have someone selected to take his job after he's
done. They do. And when that person is the chief of police, and I really do, like, I'm tempted to just say who it is and just put it out there. But the problem is that this administration will then say I'm lying. They'll beat the crap out of me about it. And then in 2 years, they'll appoint that person. But nobody will remember that they beat the crap out of me about it, right?
Yeah.
And
he'll do this work either. So
yeah, and that individual presided was the senior member of the internal investigation unit for years, and it told some of its most egregious lies with that person at the helm. So as soon as Chief Saucier leaves, we will be plunged back into lawlessness, almost certainly.
Exceptionally clear.
And this city council will not lift a finger to do anything about it. They are not putting in no systems, putting in no checks and balances to mitigate against that inevitability.
Exceptionally cleared. Hey, Tom, I feel like you've been exceptionally cleared by this presentation this evening.
So
live instant poll in the chat. How many people agree that Tom has been exceptionally cleared? Go.
And so I, Mr. Rafferty, respectfully, I don't know you. People say things about all kinds of people, so I won't put too much stock into that. I don't think we've ever met. But respectfully, there is no way in hell I will issue a retraction of that story.
One vote for exceptionally cleared.
Oh
man, we're getting those votes rolling in.
And the second item is very much related. The second item on our agenda is very much related to this item. We are going. We just kind of decided that we're gonna do this. So
come on, Fred. Fred, make it unanimous. Fred, say it. Fred, say it. Say it right now.
He can't. He can't. It's impossible. He's not He can't. He just physically can't. He might even be trying to type right now.
Do it. Say yes.
He's trying to type right now and he just can't. His brain is blocking him. He can't do it. Because police always tell the truth, right, Brad?
Where's Mark Frost when we need him to come in here and give us some trouble?
So I also, as the second item on our agenda was a little announcement of a new feature we're going to build on the site. We're going to start collecting primary source material, reports, documents from courts, complaints, and whatnot. And we're going to build an archive of misconduct within the Worcester Police Department with primary source material. And anybody that's upset with that, you can thank Officer Duffy for that. And John, I was thinking, and now we'll have to talk about this more, but I'm thinking the Thomas Duffy II Worcester Police Misconduct Archive.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, this is so good. Alleged misconduct.
No, it's just a namesake. We'll just name it after him because
Yeah. Oh, they're like a memorial. Yeah. Like I get it.
No, because he's still with us. I don't want to imply that. But
a living testament to his greatness,
expressing how influential he has been on this police department.
I agree. I mean, he is the best at this. There's no one better. One of the greatest in the country at getting people to complain about him.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to pull that up. Just give me 1 second, kids. Just give me 1 second. Now, as I've said before, we can really put no credibility into internal investigations of the police department because so many of them are laughable. And interestingly enough, by the way, the Fafana case that we just saw the video of, John, I bet you. I'm just going to ask you, see if you can pull it out of the sky. Who do you think was the Bob's investigator on that?
Who the Bob's investigator? Oh, was it?
You don't know?
Was it maybe Lieutenant Doherty?
Nope.
Oh, for what?
No, it was Sergeant Kevin Paggio.
Oh, ding, 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 ding.
I think, and I don't know why this didn't dawn on me till now, but when I'm seeing that and it's mentioned in the complaint. So he investigated this. Now they don't have a lot of people in that division, mind you, so it could be just circumstance, right? But he investigated this. He was the one that did the Cosenza investigation. There's another big one that he did too. He didn't do the beer garden, I don't think.
What about
there's another one that he did.
The girl? The baby? The girl with the baby?
No, he was a detective then. He was one of the interrogators.
Oh man, he was just one of the people that forced a fake got it.
Yeah, allegedly, right.
Allegedly.
And then of course the chief at the time, Gary Jem, and may he rest in peace. But in his response to the fury that emerged over that case, a teen being led down a path to a false confession, a coerced confession. The chief's response to that was to appoint that one of those officers to Bob's, where he stayed for the rest of his career until he retired, and was the one that investigated many of the some controversial cases. And the other interrogator in that case, it was Doherty, but not David. John Doherty. He was also involved in the Cosenza case, so they actually assigned it to his former partner to investigate him, and that's why these investigations are worthless.
And yet, Tom, our city councilors, if, for example, something comes up related to rent, right? Any of our city councilors who happen to be landlords immediately step up and leave the room because they are pristinely focused on the ethics of the situation. You got to make sure that Worcester continues to remain clean in its approach to all things governing, right? So, yeah, there you go.
And, it's I'm reminded that
this is the best thing that's ever happened. Like, literally I can't believe he sent this letter. Can I really quickly give you my analysis? This is John's analysis of this letter.
Really stupid.
So there's I can only see two reasons why they would send this letter. Reason number one is that after Tuesday's election, which very much showed the strength of the police unions in that they were canvassing, they were, helping and making sure people got to the polls on time, and they were very much encouraging people to vote. And the election showed, how much they invested in this election, right? Not that there's any other story there, Tom, to talk about. Not at all. But anyways, maybe they thought their victory was so complete that they figured, you know what, now's the time to move on Tom Marino and put him down once and for all and end the scourge that is This Week in Worcester, the thorn in their side. So that's one version of the story. The second version of the story, and this is the one that I'm leaning towards, is the absolute unforced errors that are made allegedly by this man on a regular basis because he believes that he should be in charge of everything in relation to Worcester. Now, again, this is analysis. There's no, I can't prove the thoughts. This is just John's opinion, right? So my opinion is that you have examples already this year, 2 of them, that kind of point to that. One being the very belligerent press release that was released on May 9th, where Officer Duffy demanded in the Worcester Guardian that Councilor Hajiaj be charged with all possible strength of the law, and just run into the ground. Got to make sure you take down this counselor, and you got to take down Ashley Spring, and got to get him right. And so there was that very public, very published in the Worcester Guardian thing. And then the second thing, which was very public, was going to court that I watched with my own eyes. So this is to the attorney, Mr. Rafferty, this is not alleged. This was reported by multiple sources. I watched with my own eyes Mr. Duffy go into the courtroom before the hearing for both for Ashley Spring and for Atel Hajiaj, and talk to the prosecuting attorney who was brought in to cover for District Early's office, who recused themselves from the case. He spoke to him before, and he spoke to him afterwards. And I got the quote from the attorney that he did in fact speak with Officer Duffy, and that he considered Officer Duffy an interested party. Further, Tom and I got confirming evidence that he was off duty at the time, and that he was, as part of his duties in the union, representing the officer who alleged the assault against both.
I don't think the police department said that. I think they just said he was off duty.
Yeah, I thought you said he was off duty.
Yeah, he was. So I don't think that they said he was. They didn't say he was representing him.
Well, she did say that policing was a 24/7 job, and that his job was to represent the officers.
That's true, but that is, of course, he's there to represent officers within that union for collective bargaining purposes.
Yes. So he was helping them with their contract at the courthouse. That's correct. My bad.
Yeah, right. He is not a member of the Bar Association. He does not have a law degree, and is not involved in the case. I don't believe he was even at the scene. Yeah. The purpose of what he was doing there is unknown.
No, so in my opinion, and this is John's opinion, this is the third very public, unforced error made by Officer Duffy, in that he thought that this letter would never come to light, he would send it to you, and that it would bully you into submission, and that the attorney, Mr. Rafferty, who also apparently thought that would be the way that it works out, is we're sending a letter, because a lot of folks, when it comes to lawyers, and being in the film industry, you deal with this all the time. When a deal falls through, there's always people slinging legal letters back and forth and saying this and that and threats and all this stuff. And you know what it ends up being? Nothing, right? Because a letter doesn't mean anything. Anybody can send anybody a letter. I can write you a demand letter right now. In fact, everybody in the chat, put your addresses in there, and I'm going to send all of you demand letters.
Do not put your addresses in the chat.
Come on, give me those addresses, or text them to me so I can mail you something. I'm going to mail you a letter.
Do not.
It's the best thing ever. This is the best thing ever.
And and again, it's really terrible for officers, honestly, that incur complaints, and we can't put any credibility into the investigations that were done into those complaints. It's really unfair to officers, honestly, because then you just have to look at what the complaints are, and really the only judgment we can make is in volume of complaints.
So,
And
so
and so in the case of Mr. Duffy, there's more than a few. There's more than a few.
Can I read? Can I read you a text message that came through on my secret phone that could be
Sure.
subject to this?
Sure.
An officer in the Worcester Police Department hold on. You start this. Let me see if he'll let me say what rank he is. Hold on.
Sure. Yeah. So and just again pointing. I just wanted to show Mr. Duffy's history of complaints. He does not have the most complaints in the department, but as far as I know, I mean, he's far and away the most of unreasonable force or unnecessary force. 1911, 20, 1998 unnecessary force. 1, 12, 2000 unnecessary force. Of course, he's found not responsible for any of these. 218, 2002 incompetence. 2004 2 unnecessary force. 2004 16 days later. 424 2004 and then 510 2004. Action to be taken action to be taken on request for services. I don't even know what that means. And unnecessary force. And then 2 February of 2005 unnecessary force, and then March of 2005 again a month later discourtesy and neglect of duty. Who knows what that is? Again 2005, his third citizen complaint in 2005, unnecessary force, incompetence, discourtesy, incompetence. That's all one complaint or one investigation at least. February 2006, discourtesy. August 2006, neglect of duty. November 2007, discourtesy, unnecessary force. It just goes on and on and on. There's 27 total investigations here. I forget how I counted it once, but I don't remember what it was. But one of these 2010, I'm not sure which one, honestly, because the names are, I don't know why the names are redacted, because we know who that is. That's the Blair case. In 2010, that was, in 2010, mind you, $486,000. Oh, you know what? He was dismissed in that case, though. That is not on his head. There's another one, a settlement or a judgment that was 20 grand. 18 grand in I can't find it now. And he has a couple of open cases. Fafana is still open, and no, that one's closed. No, I think it's maybe only Fafana that's open that he's involved in.
So in my job as a contributor, the least of all contributors to This Week in Worcester, I did attempt to speak with several of the folks on this list, and in each case they felt that it wouldn't be a good idea for them to talk to me, and that they were afraid to come on the record. So I know that I'm allowed to say that they fear speaking publicly about the situations. So again, that's an interesting result, right? So officers are supposed to protect us. And in this particular case, you have situations where people felt compelled to come forward with complaints. And then in the post response, and I don't mean the post agency, but post since then, they fear further retribution.
Weird.
It's weird. And it all happens to have the same person attached. They fear. They legitimately fear that.
And listen, and this is just what people say, inside the department, that a lot of people have not concern. People have told me that others inside the department fear this individual, are afraid of this individual.
Yeah, I would say that on background. I would say that at this point, I probably have more than 100 people that have said that to me, and not just people that are officers, people that are, I've had city councilors say that they're afraid of this man. I've had other city officials who are employees that, heads of departments that have said this, people who are down the line in departments who have said this, regular citizens have said this, and obviously we have proof here that at least regular citizens have reported this to the police department. So you have a consistent thing that this person is a feared individual. And so, and not just feared like because of they'll say something, or feared because, you know, they're like a strong leader or something, but they're feared. Yeah, I'm not afraid of him.
No, I just, you know.
By the way, everything that I'm saying is John's opinion and is not the opinion of This Week in Worcester. I would love to get a letter from Mr. Rafferty. It would literally, you know, if Mr. Rafferty sent me a letter, I would die happy. I would die happy if that happened to me, because boy, do I have a lot of stuff that we could go down that road. That would be amazing. It would be the best thing that's ever happened.
However, it is true. I do want to make the point once again, because taking responsibility for one's errors is important, and something I did not learn from Thomas Duffy. And that is, I definitely, you know, allowed my language to kind of morph over time. I started shortening what I was saying, or, you know, packaging it differently, and use words that were inaccurate. And so I apologize to you all for that, because I'm here to give you the truth, and you know, language should be precise.
Yeah, I dislike this. I don't have a dislike button, but if I had one, I'd do it right now. I would dislike the shit out of this.
But yeah, I mean, and look, yeah, Officer Duffy, like many officers who've been there many years, has existed. You know, he's been there, I think this is his 28th year. You know, there's several officers around his age, or a little older, a little younger, or whatever. And those officers have lived, or pardon me, have worked in a environment that was a free-for-all for 100 years. Not 100, but, you know, their whole careers. Because this problem with this police department, I mean, I liked that what the Research Bureau did in their report, kind of laying out the history of this, you know, basically 50 years of dodging, you know, preventing any oversight whatsoever, specifically a civilian review board. Because that's how long this problem has been here. And nobody will deal with it in this council. And then, you know, the makeup of the next council would indicate they're not going to deal with it. They just keep kicking the can. And, you know, there was an order in this council. If it was in this session, I'm not sure if it was last year or this year, but you know, that it didn't end up passing. I think they filed it, but somebody brought an order about opposing Rep. O'Day's bill that's been kicking around for years at the State House, to raise the minimum age to be charged as an adult. And the concerns expressed were specifically people with gun crimes, and they didn't want to see people serve shorter sentences for gun crimes. But then the two people that seemed supportive of that resolution, one of them accepted the endorsement from the union that is led currently by Officer Duffy. That seems a bit hypocritical to me.
So, real quickly, just to drift off into just like juvenile law, just for a second, and, you know, kind of the genesis of it. I happen to have an associate's degree, or the equivalent of an associate's in criminal justice, and one of the reports that I spent a ton of time on, it's about 80 pages long. If you really want to read it, you can ask me for it, and I'm happy to send it to you. Was the history of charging children with adult level crimes. And so Massachusetts was one of the last 5 states in the country to kind of claw back charging people that were under the age of 12 with adult crimes that could carry, life or extended sentences. And which is interesting because we're supposedly the bluest state and the most liberal state. But when it came to criminal justice, in many, many ways, Massachusetts was conservative for many years. The genesis of the change happened during the Charlie Baker administration. If you want to go back into the history of that, Deval Patrick actually decided not to do it. And he received a lot of criticism for it because many people thought at the time that he was positioning himself to run for president later on down the line or Senate, and that didn't end up happening. Okay, so then Charlie Baker put it through, specifically because, and if you can go back and look this up, there was a person in Charlie Baker's extended orbit, not his family, but like a friend of the family, who was 9 years old, who had committed a crime and had received an adult sentence. And part of this case, retracting that, allowed Charlie Baker to issue one of the very, very, very few commentations that he had. No, Fred, I'm not sending you nothing. Until you start telling the truth, you get nothing. So
Hey,
that's what it is.
he's our future mayor.
I'm dead serious with that. Like, he's been lying all over the place. So until he tells the truth, he gets nothing from me. And what you did to Attell and her supporters the other day, Freddie, you like don't even speak to me in City Hall, dude. Like that, you're cut off. What you did was ridiculous. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for, but being abusive is just stupid. That was based on science, though. And the science has actually been accepted very broadly by the conservative legal movement, right? And in particular, Justice John Roberts wrote a long, long, long opinion when they determined that the legal brain, for people doesn't really fully form until they're in their mid-20s. That was written by Chief Justice John Roberts when they determined certain people can't be charged with murder that are juveniles. So you have to understand that this is not just like a piece. This is like a long developing kind of scenario. Whereas the police unions are or at least this one police union and several legislators that are Democrats, by the way, Tom, you're on video, Fred, so you don't realize people have you on video. So that are Democrats, by the way, are pushing a regression to now start charging children with crimes, even though we know that someone who's 9 or 10 or 11 years old clearly is not a fully functioning adult and shouldn't be subject to adult level penalties. That's unusual, and that's cruel. It's cruel and unusual punishment. And so that is really the genesis of that thing. Real quick, just quick offset. And there's lots of other research related to it. So if you really want to understand that better and get to know it, we're more than welcome to talk.
And so, that's just and I think the archive that we will build, will be able to enable folks in our city to explore, primary source materials in a way that will give you a better understanding of some of the things that have happened and how much of it has happened. And look, I'm kind of post blaming the police department. Yeah. This is the environment that has been allowed to exist and persist and expand. And one man, and I think he's a good guy and he's been a good chief, but one guy isn't going to change it in 3 or 4 years. You're not going to undo a half a century of nonsense in a few years.
City manager seems to say that they have. He definitely likes to take credit for all the generational changes that him and Chief Saucier but Natalie, but they do commit much more crimes than women. So that's okay to say that, scientifically speaking. Juvenile boys between the ages of 12 and 17 commit a significant amount of crimes that we're studying in this situation. And the common factors among those juveniles are very, very, very similar. And not just here in the United States, but worldwide and for all history. The more that you have a juvenile boy between the age of 12 and 17 who doesn't have a father living in the home, the incidence of crime jumps astronomically, and it is by far an outlier in all study of criminal justice. It's just a fact that's undeniable for the entirety of history. It's hard to deal with, and people don't want to understand that, but the number one factor that leads to young boys not committing crimes is a father presence at some point in their lives early on. And so the science just backs it up.
Yep. And so when's the meeting this month? It's not next week, right? It's not this week?
I don't remember. Well, tomorrow's Veterans Day, and so usually when there's a holiday on the Monday, they don't always.
Well, I mean, because why? It's very important to show up to work when it's a political cudgel. But apparently, the rest of the time, it's fine to just stay home.
But public meetings. Let's see what we got here. The meeting calendar on the website.
Nope. They meet the 18th and the 25th, and 18th, 25th, and then December they have 3 meetings. Why? They meet more in the lame duck part of the session than they do all summer. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
God damn it, they're so useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure, although who knows at this point, I mean, the majority of this council is so bold that they just might not even take up the Civilian Review Board at all.
I don't think they will. Or if they do take it up, they'll take it up to bury it.
Yep.
So that, I doubt that it will be. And then right now, the current makeup, although there is a Jamal Kamara has notified the city clerk she pulled the papers to do the recount. The rule is that she needs to get 10 registered voters in each precinct or each ward. I'm not sure.
I think it's each ward.
Each ward. Okay, so that would mean she needs to get 100 voters. So 10 voters, 10 wards would be 10 voters per. And then when she files that,
it's precinct. They lied.
It's precinct. All right. So then I don't know how many voters it is. I forget how many precincts there are. Maybe there's 60 precincts altogether.
That can't be it. That's more than get on a ballot, for God's sake.
Yeah. So then I think it might be wards. But anyways, she has to pull the votes. And then once that happens, as far as I understand, they've already gotten some of that work done. So they're on their way to having that. Then the recount, I'm not sure, but I intended to get a hold of Nico on Tuesday and find out what the process is, like how they would do the recount and whether or not we could cover it, right? Like, is can the press cover this? Is there can monitors be there? Like, how does that work? I think the campaigns of all of the at-large counselors on the ballot can be present, as far as I understand. That's my understanding, is that so if they wanted to be, they could be there. But I'm not 100% sure if everybody's going to be there. I agree with you, Natalie. I mean, it was under 50 votes, and so then it just makes sense that you would it just makes sense that you would have a recount with this small. It's only 27 votes separate the two of them at this point. And so, I mean, that's
24.
Oh, is it 24? I'm sorry.
I could be wrong. I thought it was 24.
There's been some various, I mean, because there was some, anyways, there was maybe there was a glitch or something in the YouTube, but I thought I saw two different numbers. So maybe it is 24, but 24 is even less. That's less than 25 votes. I mean, that's it's just, but also, by the way, I would say this to folks that support, different candidates, 25 votes or 23 or 20, whatever it is, that many votes separating that should tell you if there was a person who stayed home or didn't feel like going to the polls, or maybe there was a person you didn't call. That's the margin at the bottom of the at-large race. It's really been this way for a long time. I think last year we talked about this, Tom, that there was about 100 votes between the 6th and the 7th place. And you can see in several of the district races, school committee, that there wasn't a huge gap. It just wasn't a large margin, except for in Rob Bellata's win, which was, by 10%. And then, of course, Louis Ojeda's win, which was by 40+%. I mean, those were just massive wins. And there really was no small margins in those two races. But in the rest of them, there was a lot of, very small margins. And I think we talked about this the other day, but between the 5th place finisher and the 8th place finisher is about 200 votes total. That's crazy. Is that right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, no, you're right. Sacha Mitra was the 5th place winner, 9,463. And then 5, 6, 7, and Donna Colorio was in 8th place and that is 9253. So just over 100, or no, just under 200.
Just under 200 votes.
It's
So I mean,
190.
so that shows you that there was like and Gino just said it in the chat. Every vote does count, guys. So the 200 votes is not a lot of votes. It's not. It's really isn't. And so I would say that me personally, so I never endorse people because I think that I'm not supposed to as a working reporter, but I do encourage registration, and I personally helped to register about 250 voters myself on my street. And so like I got registration forms and I brought them to people and I mailed them for them. So I did that, and I do that. That's the second election in a row I've done that. And my goal next election is 500. But I'm only one person, you know what I mean? So I know that's and I'm doing it by myself. I don't want to be attached to any campaign because I don't think that that's appropriate. But, my goal eventually is to expand the amount of registered voters in the city of Worcester. And the city clerk's office does a really good job of providing that information and the forms if you want them. You can pick up to 100 at a time at the clerk's office if you go to City Hall, and you can get the voter registration forms, and they'll give you 100. And you can take them and go out and have people fill them out. And so I
just wanted to sneak in that the difference between the sixth place finisher at large, Mo Bergman, he has 9,357 to Gemma Kamara's 9,334. So that is 23 votes. As a percentage of the at large votes cast, Bergman 8.76 to Gemma's 8.74. So I mean, it doesn't get much raised than that.
Yeah, it does. It's great. It's so it's possible that it could change. There are I think as I understand the reporting right now, there are more than 100 provisional ballots. Those are ballots that the provisional ballots are generally allowed to be counted in a recount situation if the reason they were given a provisional is less than 4 years from the last time they voted, right? So when I was the warden at the YMCA, and we had one provisional voter, and that the reason that person we had to give him a provisional vote is because they hadn't voted for 4 years or more, right? So it was 4 years and 3 months since, or something like that, more than 4 years since the last time they voted. So they hadn't registered, and they hadn't answered the census. So the city sends out an annual census every single year, and if you don't answer that and then you don't come to vote, your registration lapses. You can't cure a ballot in the precinct. We can't do that. You have to do what's called a provisional ballot. It goes into a yellow envelope. The voter has to put it in the envelope. The warden I personally have to certify it. In this case, I have to certify the signature. I'm not allowed to look at it. They have to fold it into threes. So the warden's not supposed to see the vote, and then place it in the ballot. It's sealed, and then it's put in a bag that's zippered. And then that bag is put in another bag that's zippered, and then that's delivered by the officer to the city hall at that night. We were the first. We've won 2 elections in a row, Tom. I just want to say that so far we're undefeated. My wardenship is undefeated, as we are 2 elections in a row. We're the first precinct back to City Hall.
I don't think that's winning.
That is winning. What do you mean?
Okay.
That means we were efficient and we were clean and we had our votes in nice and we had the area nice and set up and we were able to break.
And nobody came to vote?
No. We had 107 votes. Don't you? Which more than tripled our preliminary total of 31. So yeah, and it might be 108 votes if that provisional ballot is allowed. And I don't know who's on who the person voted for. But we only had one. We had one. I can say it now, but we had one person come to the polls who had campaign gear on, and it was actually Edson. Edson's a friend of Edson's that I know, who had an Edson Montero hat on, and so he had to give me the hat so he could go in and vote. But I thought it was really funny Holly, I know you're watching, right? But there was one person who came with an Edson hat. I didn't know Edson had hats. So that was the only person that was wearing any paraphernalia for people that were currently campaigning. If you wanted to wear a Trump hat to this election, you could have, because he's not on the ballot. If you're on the ballot, you can't wear any campaign gear. But he was very nice to me, and he understood. And that's because the inspectors, they did their job. So there's people that are inspectors, and their job is to refer campaign literature or propaganda to the warden, and then I have to, hey, can you give that to me? You can go vote, because our city is one of many in Massachusetts that says, hey, go and vote. You're supposed to let people vote unless there's a significant and serious challenge. And it's funny because you hear all the the federal stuff, Tom, like on TV all the time. In my precincts that I've worked in, people almost always have their license out, like they're ready to vote. It's not like people are showing up and like trying to hide who they are. I've never experienced anything like that. People who come to vote want to vote, and so we generally do everything we can to make sure that they get to vote.
Well, I mean, and statistically, few people have experienced that, because fraudulent voting is very, very rare.
They're very rare. And in our city, we have these little printers that the warden gets, where if someone comes to the wrong station, I get to print them out a sticker, and then that sticker gives them like an address or a little barcode to scan. They can go to another precinct and get their vote in. So I think we had like 50 people total that came through that way. And almost all of them we sent either to Murray Ave or to the Mead Street, where the inspectional services are, which came from the precinct split. And I know that they're talking about fixing that, because District 4 in particular, you couldn't, Fred, you can't wear a Trump hat because he's on. Well, I don't know if you could. Maybe
he wouldn't be on the ballot.
If he's not on the ballot, you can come to whatever you want. I don't really care. I don't care about that hat. Doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, Natalie, I agree with you. There was the part of the reason they made that rule was, I don't know if you remember this, but when Mitt Romney was governor, people used to put these stickers up, which were like really derogatory towards Mitt Romney. They used to like plaster them on the thing. Oh, Tom's got to go do something. He's being more naughty. I don't know. Maybe he got another demand letter. Maybe someone's knocking at his door demanding him because he's been such a bad guy. But there was something like that where someone put like a derogatory sticker. And in this case, we were given very clear instructions by the clerk to look for stickers that people were putting up of Mayor Petty and some other people too. That's just keeping it nice and clean and fair. And you just don't want someone feeling uncomfortable when they're voting. And so we tried to do a nice job of that. The team that we have at the YMCA, I really like my team, and I enjoy working with that group. So, I don't know how much longer. Our chat is just at another level tonight. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Oh man, Tom, our chat, man. Whew.
Our people, that's our folks.
That is our folks, man. We got those things going. So,
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I understand. It's time to go to bed. Wait, but Tom, we are after the election, and so we have to return to the most favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I got one of those stickers. Somebody handed me one of those stickers too, Sarah. They are pretty funny.
Oh, okay, yes. I have seen some of those Mayor Petty stickers. Yes, I have seen.
This is the time for John's favorite part of the show.
It's so good. Okay, so since we've been talking about elections, I thought a cool one to talk about is, Tom, what was, like, of all the elections you've ever been through, right? Like, whether they're local ones or state ones or federal ones, what was the favorite election of your lifetime? Your favorite election, as far as like what happened or what was going on? What was the best thing that you've ever seen?
I would like to first acknowledge that Maria did have the best apparel of the election in the T-shirt that she had. was absolutely epic. Absolutely epic.
It was a great T-shirt.
Great T-shirt. I don't know that I have one, man. Like, so I've always tilted gone third party. I've never voted for a Democrat or Republican for president.
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
Ralph Nader's old phrase, the two-party system will be the destruction of America. I believe that to be true, and I have refused to participate in it for president. I do think that we have one of the best congressional representatives you could have. Of the 435, 535, 435. People in Congress is not too many that I take over the guy we have. And he never really has a legitimate, hasn't been challenged in any, serious way. So I'm not sure, man. Like, I'm not sure. No, I voted for Bernie in the primary. So I have voted. He ran as a Democrat, so that technically did vote for a Democrat.
There you go. All right, there you go. I would say my favorite election of all time. Well, I mean, I guess there would be two. But my favorite local election all time was when Connie Lukes won her first time as mayor. That was by far the best. I loved it. It was such a brutal election, and Connie dominated. And so you guys can tell Connie about that. I still root for Connie Lukes. Connie Lukes, the Queen of Worcester, royalty herself.
Yes, I always bow to her, and she always says, "Shut up."
So good.
It is pretty. It's kind of sad that when you asked me, that was a question a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite counselor of all time? And I said her, and I disagree with her on a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's that you never had to guess where she stood. She did not mince words.
Also, I think that Connie very much cared about people, and still does to this day. I think she cares about people, and I think you can disagree with someone, but you know that they're gonna hear out people, and that's what that's kind of why I respect Attell so much. I think Attell has had a ton of people say a lot of bad things to her and about her, and yet she still shows up. And I point out to a couple of those fires that happened in District 5 where people who were very proudly pro Jose and anti Attell lost their businesses, and the person who was there for them was Attell. And so I respect a person who's willing to do that kind of work. As far as the elections, like of all time, that are my favorite. My favorite ever was was when we Massachusetts got together. This is late 90s, early 2000s. One of the first elections I ever participated in, when we said to lower the income tax rate in Massachusetts, which they still haven't done, which is hilarious. It's such a great thing. But they've actually increased it. They've increased it since then. But the reason why was because, if you remember at the time, I think it was DeMacy. DeMacy was the speaker, and he said it would never pass, that the people of Massachusetts know, and they're fiscally responsible, and it would never, ever pass. And of course it did. I think it was 70% to 30 or something crazy. And I did not know that.
Well, I did not know that. For the love of God, send that to me.
Serious? On where? On her webs? On Facebook?
Emma, make that happen, please. Make that get a link to me, Messenger or whatever, please. I absolutely need to see that. I did not see that.
I'm
shamelessness of that woman.
I'm blown away if that's true. And I believe Emma.
I don't want to freak out until I see it.
It's not on her regular account. Is it on the the committee? I know there was a fake account going around too. Hold on her.
Gino, you screw everybody. I love it.
I can't believe it. She really did. Oh my goodness.
What's it on the committee page?
Yeah, it's on her committee. He's standing directly behind her. Unbelievable, dude. Unforced errors.
No, that's deliberate. That's deliberate.
Yeah, I found it, Emma. I found it.
Send me the link in Messenger, will you?
Yeah. That just like makes me sick. It's a victory post. And the campaign limited who can comment on the post, which I assume means that someone was going at her for it.
No, she's been doing that forever.
Yeah, but there's some posts that she lets it happen. It's weird.
That's absolutely infuriating.
I can't.
She is an absolute danger to children. She's the biggest scumbag alive.
It's crazy.
A woman who just throw kids out of school, and you know what they look like, but she poses with that fucking piece of shit. She's a fucking loser. That anybody votes for her is unbelievable. Anthony Petroni, who supports her every 2 years, you piece of shit.
Oh,
Absolutely disgusting. That woman is a demon.
allegedly.
No, fuck her.
I gotta protect you from demand letters.
The woman's a demon.
Could you prove that in court? Like whether someone is a demon or not? I don't know.
Please. I'll tell the judge to send his kids with her. And she can take them to that piece of shit.
That's wild. Wow.
What a scumbag. Absolute scumbag. She's flaunting it. That she exposed thousands of children to him. And she just flaunts it. Oh my God, she's the goddamn worst person in the world. I mean, just an absolute demon.
This story's not over. I can tell you that. I can tell you that this story is not over.
I cannot. Anybody that votes for her, you should. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say for you. If you don't know the story, I guess I can excuse it. You know, because I mean, you don't pay attention to the news like a crazy person. Fine, but you don't know any better, and you recognize, But if you know and you still vote for that person, you are just Satan. My God. My God.
Yeah, so it really does go to the same analysis that we talked about earlier. I think that I just think that they don't believe that they've ever done anything wrong, and they just and their approach is that they'll just shove it in your face. And I mean that is as clear a indication that they know about the coverage, they know about the story, and they are willing to say on the day, and then they're indicating that was something they probably ran on, right? So they were probably on the doors and had to deal with that.
And she runs on school safety.
It's wild.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The woman's a demon.
It's just wild to me. Wild. I don't, this every time this comes up, I just want to go to bed. I just want to lay down and go to bed. But if you think that story's over, if you think that
it ain't.
You have no idea.
I can't say anything right now. But
it's coming. It's coming. I hope you're ready. I hope everybody's ready for the more, because it's not great. It is very late.
Oh my God.
I think it's time to end the show, buddy.
I just said a bunch of dirty words, and I try not to do that in the show, but
yeah,
the woman's a demon.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate that.
No, I'm embarrassed. I didn't know, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't see it,
Yeah, no, I appreciate you pointing it out. Did not know.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
It-
Sure. I'm happy to. I'm absolutely happy to. Hold on. I closed it because I was pissed. Give me 1 second. Ooh. Give me 1 second. Uh, 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 uh. You make this way too complicated. Oh, stupid. Or I'm stupid. So I think you can. I don't know if you can see the point in my mouse. But that is former superintendent of schools for 6 years because the school committee at the time had lost their mind, Maureen Benenda, and this is alleged pedophile and child rapist John Manfredo standing behind her. After everything that's come out,
I mean, it's just
the only thing that man's ever said is, "I was never alone with that girl," and there's clearly been demonstrated now that he was multiple times. He had not endless access, but he had plenty of access. There was plenty of opportunity for him to commit the crimes that he's alleged to have committed. And there she is on election night, just shameless, just shameless. That woman hates children. Wow. Yeah, right. Right, exactly. I don't mean to yell at you. I have the statement. Oh, yes, that is not true. Per the custodian, he had, right, per the custodian statement, he had plenty of access. Correct. I'm irritated. I read it wrong first, Natalie. But yes, I have that statement. It's absolutely, it was part of what established very clearly opportunity. Wow. Wow. Good look. I forget who it was now. Emma. Thank
Emma.
you for pointing it out. Although it probably doesn't look at my face like I'm thankful for you pointing it out. Thank you for pointing it out. That's, I mean, to not even care enough, just pretend, at least, at the very least. But no.
Yeah, I want to focus on the reporting that we're doing and the work that we're doing, and it's going to be, that's going to be really important work, and I think that reporting will stand the story on its head the way it needs to be. So
yeah, and let's not. I don't want to say any. Like, I don't want to give hints or nothing.
but I don't like at this time. I want to. Yeah.
Oh my God, I am so mad.
I'd say go. I'd say, and it's time to go home. It's time to
Yes,
go
it is. Sorry for my little breakdown there, but
okay, that's a completely valid reaction because that's ridiculous.
I mean, and look, I have been like fortunate enough to spend some time with Heather, especially lately, with documents coming out and the reporting I did, and I did a podcast I did Shayna's podcast with Heather last week. It's up now. You can I think he's done another one since. It's the second to last one. I mean, it was this really powerful moment when we got those documents where because I mean, look, when you've been told you're crazy for 30 years and you made it up in your head, you start to question yourself, right? And when she got possession of these documents and she started, reading through them, or we were telling her what was in it, there was just this moment where she just went like, it took me 30 years to know that I'm not crazy and I didn't make it up.
Heather is not crazy.
And I mean, she obviously, it was just like this emotion poured out of her because there was some validation of what she's been saying all this time, and that miserable scumbag of a human being is taking pictures with that guy on election night. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
story's not over. We're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on that.
Very traumatic indeed, Holly. Very traumatic indeed. And there's a
we should go, man. We should go.
Yeah, stop talking.
Yeah.
I just got the red light from John. We're gone. Everybody have a great week. Sorry for that little outburst.
No, okay.
Thank you, Emma, though, for pointing that out. I had no idea that was there. Everybody have an awesome week. Win lots of stuff. I don't know what even that means, but win at whatever you're doing. We will do this again next Sunday at 8:35 and try to screw it up less then. Until then,
give up.
Deuces.
Do not ever give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
No, don't give people like you know who the satisfaction of giving up.
Never.
Have a great week. Kill it. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.